Good morning, everyone. Vince Montero here. Welcome to Sir Tacos Tuesday with me, Vince Montero. And I'm really excited about today's session. If you guys follow this series or if you followed them in the past, you'll know I used to do a once a month AMA training session at Helium 10, just called Tacos Tuesday. So this is an extension of that. Now I'm able to do that here at Trivium Group. And what I like to do once a month is go over, specific content that I have found to be interesting that's in the space, maybe something new with the ads console, new campaign types, case studies, and basically just share that content with you guys for some training, and then followed by a Q&A. So today I will be joined by Ritu Java of PPC Ninja, and we're going to be talking specifically about AI and Chat GPT. And we're going to go over some things that I found to be really interesting. We saw some interesting things at a seller summit that we were at just in Fort Lauderdale. And then if you guys do have questions, though, while we're presenting, we do have some content. Feel free to ask the questions. And, if it's relevant to what we're talking about, I'll go ahead and we'll pause and answer the questions. If not, if you want to save your questions to the end, that's also fine, too. And we'll just go ahead and cover them. So I'm going to go ahead and bring on Ritu. And how are you?
Hello, Vince. It's so nice to see you now again after just a few days, right? We met in person, and now we're
we met in person at Prosper, which was in Vegas.
Yes.
And that was what earlier this year. Yeah, just a couple months ago. Had a great little conversation by the pool and talked about doing something together, and now this is the result of that. And then of course we got to meet in person last week at Seller Summit. What did you think about that? Why don't you give us some background on you and some highlights that you found?
Seller Summit is one of my favorite conferences to go to, only because it's really nice, intimate, and
Uh-oh, lost you. Sorry. There you are. Are you coughing? If you need water, go ahead and grab it. I had this same issue in Florida all last week because it's really hot and there's air conditioning just everywhere you go.
Yeah.
So not only was I talking a lot, which I can still hear it in my voice, how much I was talking a lot the past week, but the AC, like it really it dries out your throat, and you're outside in the Florida heat and it's really humid. So you've got all this moisture and then the heat, and then you go inside and then it's super cold and dry, and your body's like,
confused.
Confused. For me anyway, like, I live, we both live on the West Coast.
West Coast,
right?
yes. Yeah, I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
Yeah, so, and we don't have that humidity, and we don't have that need for AC.
Correct. Yeah, exactly.
I live in Laguna Beach. I just open my windows. It's 70, 75 degrees. It's
the hottest. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, the weather was just gorgeous. Like, we did have a bunch of thunderstorms, which was kind of interesting.
The thunderstorms were interesting. Florida weather's quite interesting. It's sunny.
Quite interesting, yeah.
Thunderstorms, sunny. Thunderstorms, sunny.
Yeah. But, overall, I really like that conference. I really like Steve Chu and his community, because he's really made it very different from all the other kind of events that I've gone to. Most events, there's a little bit of that extreme hustle that I don't sense that desperate hustle in Steve Chu's events, because they're more relaxed. He came out with this book, Family First Entrepreneur, which is so cool. It's like, hey,
made the New York bestseller list, I think, while we were there.
While we were there. So I just like that because of the stress-free kind of element of calm that Steve brings to to the community. So I loved that conference for just refreshing myself.
Yeah, it is. So if anyone's interested, just look up. We're not trying to promote it or anything. This was my first time going, and I went to represent Trivium Group. I think it's just Sellers Summit, and there'll be another one next year. But you do have to qualify to get in as a seller. So there's it's smaller group, more intimate, which is what you were commenting on.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your background, how long you've been doing PPC Ninja?
Yeah. So my background is basically that I started my e-commerce journey on Etsy a while ago, that 2010, 2012, I think. And
Hmm. Oh wow, yeah.
yeah, and Etsy back then didn't have any advertising or anything, but I was just I was selling jewelry, and I used to manufacture these jewelry pieces and put them on Etsy, and no one would buy.
Right.
It would be like, hey, I made all these listings, I'm doing all these collections and whatnot, and not getting any traffic. So basically, that took me down a path where I was really diving into marketing, teaching myself Facebook ads, Google ads, creating a blog, creating a YouTube channel, like all of that stuff, right? I literally
Hmm.
taught myself. I'm an engineer by background, so this was all like
Ah,
new. It was all new, and it was, it started off as a hobby, but then it became like, serious and all that stuff. Anyway, so I actually love data. I love advertising, and PPC Ninja. My company uh, is about 5 years old, and we've been helping 6, 7, and 8 figure brands with their advertising needs on Amazon, as well as a little bit off Amazon as well. For example, we do Google ads and Walmart ads as well. So
awesome.
I just love PPC. I literally live, breathe, and eat PPC
It's
all day long.
it's funny. You and Mina are both have. I mean, there's a lot of engineers in this space that are doing
Right?
PPC.
Steve
Um,
Chu is also an engineer.
yeah, exactly, exactly. I
Yeah,
just
yeah,
learned
yeah,
that, so I was like, okay, that makes sense. Which is weird. It's weird for me. I'm not a numbers person, but I really do like PPC.
yeah.
Um, that's more because of my exposure. Just the past 20 years, I've been doing digital marketing, so I've seen lots of different ad tech,
Mm-hmm.
tools like
Yeah,
affiliate marketing tools and mobile marketing tools and things like that, and how to track everything. So, it might be a little bit of that, but I also just like, helping sellers as well, doing something that I know is important, but can be really challenging. On that note, the topic of today, obviously, elevate your PPC game with ChatGPT. So, Ritu's been kind enough to come up with some content. So, we're going to go ahead and share those slides. And again, feel free to, if you need to stop to drink, feel free to do it. You don't need to go off camera.
that sounds good. That sounds good.
I'll be doing it too. We're very casual here.
Okay, awesome,
So I'll go
awesome.
ahead and add that to the stream. Go ahead and share your screen.
Yeah, okay, awesome. So, everybody is talking about ChatGPT, and I'm sure
They are.
everybody in the audience has touched it in some way already. So, either you're signed up for the free version or the paid version, whether you've used some of the image processing tools like Dolly and Midjourney and stuff like that.
Hmm.
I think it's impossible to ignore it now. And either we kind of ride on the wave, or we get left behind. It's
Right.
literally a choice between those two, because technology doesn't have an off switch. I mean, they're trying to do some things, right? Regulation and stuff like that, but
Right.
I doubt they can change the fundamentals of where we're at now. 6 months in, and we're like literally
Hmm.
seeing hundreds and hundreds of tools based on ChatGPT that are coming out almost every day. Like, it's hard to keep up almost. It's like,
Yeah, there.
uh,
One of the
yeah,
presenters was sharing something on ChatGPT, and he basically did a screen, and one of his screens was all the plugins
yeah,
that you can
yeah,
use to combine the power of
right,
GPT with these plugins.
right, yeah,
Fascinating stuff, and yeah, agreed. I don't think it's going to
yeah,
slow down anytime soon. So
it
we're
is
going to try
not.
to focus on
Yeah,
stuff that's going to specifically help with PPC, but there's a lot of other things
yeah,
out
right.
there.
Yeah, and I have been using ChatGPT for refining everything that I do, whether it's an email that I'm writing, or
Mm,
a newsletter that I'm sending out, or just content ideas, or just clearing my brain, and just asking ChatGPT to help me organize my thoughts and stuff like that. So it is really a really nice personal assistant
yeah,
that's available for free or for a small charge.
multi.
It's amazing. So the angle that I'm going to take here today is basically how to use ChatGPT alongside Google Sheets, because that's where a lot of the PPC people, folks live, either Google
Yeah,
Sheets or Excel, right? So one of
true.
those. So we live in data, right? And that's where we get the most out of our, out of our advertising. And it just makes sense for us to quickly understand how ChatGPT can leverage that and can help us do even better than we have been doing in the past. So here are some challenges and time-consuming advertising tasks that everybody needs to do. So I know that there's tools out there that can do a majority of these tasks, or even uh, you know you can combine a few different tools to
Hmm.
do a majority of these tasks. But the thing is that you'll still have more tasks to do. Like, there's always more to do with PPC. I mean, I cannot imagine saying, okay, now I'm done, I've set all my tools up, and I'm ready to take a break. No, I'm like
Can't walk
always
away.
can't
No.
walk away. I can't rest. I can't stop downloading stuff and uploading stuff and doing stuff with the data, because there's always something more that you can do, right?
Absolutely.
So these are just some examples of things that are like time consuming, but they need to be done for your PPC to work. You need to do keyword research, right? And there's
Mhm.
many tools that help you do the keyword research, like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout, Data Dive. There's so many, right?
Yep.
But even to get to that initial seed keyword list, you have to do something before that. It has to come from you, it has to come from your brain. So I've noticed that using ChatGPT as a consultant to come up with ideas on what those keywords, those seed keywords should be, is actually a great starting point. And then you can use these other tools to kind of
To,
expand on it.
to
Yeah.
add to that, it's
Yeah.
interesting. You can literally ask, as an assistant, you can literally ask Chat GPT to tell you how it should ask you a question.
Yes. Exactly. It's
You can
like
be
so
like, whatever
meta.
the topic is,
Yeah.
what is the best way? Yeah, I mean, it's called, a prompt, but like, what is the
Yeah.
best? I found that fascinating. So, like, to your point,
Yeah.
like, it is kind of an assistant that will
Yeah.
even tell you, you can even ask it what's the best way to ask it
Yeah.
to get an outcome, which is
It is
kind of blew my
fascinating.
mind.
It is. It's absolutely fascinating.
So that makes sense that you're using it kind of as an assistant. I didn't think of
Yeah.
it that way.
Right.
But when you
Yeah.
said it, I was like, no, actually, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. So, with keyword research, there's different people use keywords different ways. So, for example, if you're talking about, let's say, a garlic press, you can ask ChatGPT to first tell you what different audiences would use that tool. And
Hmm.
then you can ask it to tell you what keywords those audiences would be likely to use when shopping for a product like that on Amazon.
Right.
So it's like you're getting a much nicer starting point than just the word garlic press and then just doing a cerebro with your competitors. It's a lot more.
Right.
It's richer. It's got a lot more to it, and then you can, capture some long tail keywords that you probably wouldn't have thought of because they're like so low in volume, or just in your mind, or just somewhere that you probably don't even think about uh, certain audiences that are using products that you're advertising. So
Hmm.
this is a lot. Like, I'm just going to go through quickly because I don't think I can go into each one of them, but you
Right.
get the idea. So keyword research is one, then competitor research. Now with ChatGPT linking to the web, browsers are now a thing, so you can actually in real time kind of ask ChatGPT to find competitors for you. Give it give it your ASIN, or let's say a competitor's ASIN to start with, and say, find me competitors like this. And
Right.
so it's going to give you a list of competitors, even has embedded links to check them out. So there's that. Then there's a bunch of other things like campaign creation. Those are time consuming tasks, right? So campaign creation, headline ad copy, lifestyle images. You need these all the time for sponsored brand headline ads. And
Hmm.
oftentimes as an agency, and I know it might be true for you as well, we don't
Hmm.
often get the assets in the format that we need it. We're like,
Right.
oh, this is a square, they might have used it on Instagram or something. Now how do I expand it out? So there's all those things that you can do with some of the generative AI tools that are out there that I've used. Like I've literally used combination of 2 or 3 tools to convert a square image to a landscape image and then fill in the rest with AI, which is very mind blowing. I'm like, whoa, this is like next level.
It was mind blowing to watch them do that between
Yeah. Right.
Headley and Midjourney
and so many more, so many others. Even image enhancement, like kind of closing the gaps on images or wiping out areas of images that you don't need, and then filling them up, with artificial intelligence and making it look like that image always existed. So those kinds of things are there. Then list processing. There's so many lists that we are dealing with like all the time. Coming from Amazon, keyword lists, competitor lists, harvested keyword lists, and so on. So there's so much, and you can use some really cool techniques to kind of do list processing fast. Gap analysis, when you're doing comparisons between keywords coming from sponsored products, and you want to kind of do a gap analysis of whether those keywords exist in sponsored brands and sponsored video or not. And so there's cross gap analysis that you can kind of use the help of ChatGPT for. Trend analysis, right? You want to see month over month trends over certain KPIs. You can also get help there, and there's so many more. Like it's just an endless, limitless list of things that consume our time with advertising that you can now kind of really compress and kind of do the same tasks much faster. So I just had like this BHAG, the big hairy audacious goal of building 100 tools.
What is it called? Big hairy ambitious goal.
Audacious goal. Yeah, it's just a thing. BHAGs, right? BHAGs are these weird, like kind of big goals that you may or may not achieve, but they're out there and they kind of keep telling you to kind of keep moving on. There's like that demon out there saying, "Hey, you got to do it."
I've never heard that expression before. That's
funny. Okay, yeah, it's kind of cool. It's there. A lot of people in the management circles would use this BHAG term. But anyway, so building 100 tools with ChatGPT is a goal that I have. So right now I'm maybe around 20. Like I've used the power of ChatGPT to create like micro tools. These are all micro tools that do small things, right? You don't have to boil the ocean. You don't have to think like, gosh, I'm going to be the next, Apple or whatever. No, you can just do the smallest things that help you automate your life. My general rule of thumb is that if you have a task that you're doing more than 3 times, ever, you can just automate it because you're likely to use it again. Now, if it's a one-off, it's a waste of time, one-off, two-off, it doesn't matter. But if you find yourself repeating certain tasks, then it's good to have some sort of automation that replaces that task. And then you don't have to,
That's the whole reason why I went to Helium 10 to build out a PPC tool, was to automate.
There you go.
PPC things I was doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Every single day.
Right? Yeah. So looking at some of the ideas that I started with, so these are just examples of like 10 different tools that I just started brainstorming. I said, I need a tool that does this and this and this and this. And can I do it? And then I did it. So these were 10 tools created in 10 days. So one tool a day kind of thing. And I keep going, like I have more and more and more ideas, and I'm just jotting them down and getting them into some sort of micro tool format. So these examples, I'll just go over a few, and then I'll actually show you some actual examples. Like I have 2 examples today to share. So, for example, generating seed keywords to use as a starting point for Helium 10, which I already mentioned, right? Using the audience as a starting point. A keyword sorting hat. This is basically just something that we do for our agency clients at PPC Ninja, where we split out a keyword list into 3 buckets. Goal and long tail keywords and related keywords, and we use a few different things to kind of split them out. So I said, okay, if I'm going to do this over and over again, might as well create like a formulaic Google sheet that you just upload your list and the search volume, and then boom, it separates it out into these different buckets. Now, of course, you might want to go back and review that list and kind of figure, but at least it's done the basic work, and then it's just a matter of fine tuning, etc. An ASIN sorting hat, which again is another one where you don't want to go after every single ASIN that's out there when you're doing product targeting. You want to split your ASINs up into low risk and high risk based on price, review, rating, and stuff like that. So again, you can use the power of ChatGPT and Google Sheets to kind of do that. ASIN harvesting, where you're finding new keywords that exclude your halo sales. Most, harvesting is not cognizant of what is a halo sale, and it may not even know what your own products are. So it might keep saying, "Hey, go after this ASIN," but it turns out it's one of your own. So that's like, okay, I need to clean that up. So cleaning up tasks, right? It's really good with that. Negative keywords. Now, this is not just the usual negative keywords. This is basically finding single word terms across like a multitude
so that you can phrase match, so you can phrase them.
Yes, so that you can phrase match those single words that appear in like single like one-click words across many one-click words. It can give you like a frequency, word frequency kind of cloud, and then you can kind of find the ones that are most kind of bleeding and so on.
Right.
Analyzing month-over-month campaign data, generating keyword themes for SB ads based on affinity. So this is one I'm going to show you actually today. This one, and then also this one, generating sponsored brand headline ads for A/B testing at scale. And then keyword translation, which is another great one. At PPC Ninja, we also help people expand to Japan. So we've got like Japanese translation also kind of as one of the things that we do. So keywords can be translated actually much better with ChatGPT than with Google Translate. I've tested both. I can speak Japanese, I can read, write, and speak Japanese. So I kind of know the quality.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed that on your website, and we talked, and you talked specifically just about Japan. I was assuming there was some kind of connection.
Yes, there is some connection. I lived there for 17 years, so I kind of...
that would do it.
Yeah, right. There we go. So keyword translation at scale is another great use of ChatGPT. And then, recently created a backend keyword generator tool that uses, one input from Helium 10, and then the rest it kind of helps, concatenate English and Spanish together into a single field. So I'm going to show you that as well. So
okay, perfect.
Yeah. So let me start with before I go into the demo, I'll show you 4 ways that I leverage ChatGPT. So the first one I already kind of explained lightly, which is to ask it directly, right? To just have a conversation in the UI. So you just go to the ChatGPT UI and just ask it questions. You can make your questions as sophisticated as you like, your prompts as sophisticated as you like. The second way I use it a lot is basically asking for Google Sheets formulas. And the way I do this is that I have an idea in mind. I want my sheet to work in a certain way. I want it to process something that's in column A, using something else in column B and C and D and E. And then I want it to give me some sort of output in column F or A or whatever. So that is where I use, ChatGPT a lot, because those formulas are priceless. I am generally okay with Google Sheets formulas. Like I'm not like a newbie or anything. I can handle them. But see, that's the sweet spot of, people who are aware of certain things and can do them, but it takes them a long time to go and research and, okay, what was that formula again? I can't keep that in my brain. I can't keep it in my brain. Even if I were to go to Stack Overflow and ask how to do something, you'll get 10 different answers and some might contradict. Then you have to test it out. You'll find errors and things like that. Anyway, ChatGPT just compresses all of that and just gives you the formulas, which is really, really cool. You just describe what you want in words, and then it's magically just converts that into formulas that you can stick it in. I've had like 99% success with the formulas. And even if those formulas don't work, I can always kind of reply back to the response from ChatGPT and say, hey, that did not work. And it say, okay, tell me more. Why did it not work? Did you see this and that? So I can refine even the formulas to make it work exactly the way I want it to work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Perfect.
one way. Now you might also find that could get complicated if you have to do too much explanation, if there's multiple columns and so on. Well, in that case, you can also ask ChatGPT to generate a Google app script. This of course is code, and while I do have an engineering degree and I do have a basic understanding of programming, I do not identify as a programmer. So that's
Right.
just one thing to note. So when I ask ChatGPT for app script code, I'm not going to evaluate it that much, but I can read. I can read kind of, okay, this is giving me some function that's going to do this and
Mm-hmm.
that. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
not the person who's going to read code like people read English. No, I can't do that. So I will
Mm-hmm.
copy that and put it into app script, and let that run. And if it throws any errors, then I take that error and put it back into ChatGPT and say, this error came up,
This
what
was
to
wrong.
do. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so then it'll modify the code and give you a different one. You try that, and so it's fairly I
As
would say,
one of our guests said, trust but verify. So that's a
yeah,
great way
exactly. Trust but verify. Yeah, so the
to do that.
verification would definitely take a few iterations, but it's not like it can't, because I built a bunch of my tools just using the app script code that it generates. And then finally, the last kind of way of doing things at scale, because it's okay to go into the UI and ask one question at a time, but that's not a good use of your time overall.
Mm-hmm.
You can integrate ChatGPT API right into Sheets.
Right into your sheets.
Yeah, and there's lots of like free tools now that do this, including Excel-based tools.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's quite a bit of help out there that you can. We actually built it internally, and I'll show you how that can be used in a sheet, and it can basically take the same input or multiple inputs and generate uh, responses in bulk. So that's kind of
Nice.
cool for people who are advertising.
Mm-hmm.
um, so let me show you the first tool of the two that I was going to, actually it's a two and a half tools that I'm going to show you. So the first two, the second one is a little bit of a one plus half. This one is the backend keyword generation tool that I created. So I started with the idea that, hey, I have a lot of, actually let me put it back. I have a lot of clients whose backends aren't optimized.
Oh yeah, it's
Amazon, right?
all the time. It's
All the
one of the
time.
things that you see. A
Yeah,
lot of sellers don't even know when you say what is your have you filled in your backend keyword
yeah,
page? They're like, what is that? And
yeah,
it's
exactly.
shocking to me because it's literally probably it's probably the most important part of SEO
Right. Yeah,
for your
yeah,
listing is to have this completed. So for those of you that are listening, we're literally talking about, in Seller Central, in the inventory, in the product. You click on edit or modify, I don't know what it's called, but there's always, I mean, Amazon does move things around for different types of products, I have noticed.
yeah.
Sometimes it's just keywords, sometimes it's a lot of different things.
Right.
But it's basically, the front end, which is your listing itself, is super important to have optimized, but it's equally, if not more important, to have that back end keyword page, completed and filled out. So it's great that you're showing us how to do that.
Yeah. So in my case, I don't even go to the inventory page because it's a lot of clicks. I actually have a single kind of direct way of getting into the backend.
Okay, you should show
Yeah.
me that way because that's the only way I don't go in there a lot, but
Yeah. Yeah, it is one of those Ajax based URLs that it just has access to the backend somehow. So
nice.
I can share that. But anyway, so that you just change your ASINs. That's it. Just if you have a list
Hmm.
of 20 ASINs, you just replace the ASIN field and it shows you the backend entirely, and then you can find your backend search terms and check that way. But the idea is that you want to max out the 249 bytes
Yes.
that Amazon gives you for your backend. And most people forget to add Spanish. It's like such a
Mm,
no-brainer. Like Spanish
in the
words
US,
are
yes,
in the
especially.
US. And if you're in Canada, then French. There's always a second language. If you're in Japan, then English and Chinese. Like there's so much. There's yeah, two languages are easy. Like for most countries would have something like that, an additional
Yeah.
language maybe. Right?
Hmm.
Germany would have English, etc.
Hmm.
So so this tool basically what it does is that Uh, yeah, what I'm doing is, first of all, I'm just using a list of competitors. That's my
Sure.
starting point. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
see all my competitors, put them into Cerebro, and then I find out the basically find the word frequency cloud that shows up on the
Mhm.
right side, and that is a list that is very precious because it tells you the words that appear in all these different asins, and I think even their copy and ads and all that stuff, the words
Mhm.
that they are repeating throughout their listing. And so this word frequency cloud basically uh, collapses all of that into single words, and it gives you the frequency of those words.
Yeah.
Now with that frequency, what you can do is you can pick the ones that you think can go straight into your backend. Of course you can use some of them in your front end as well, but most of these would be backend words because there's other processes for keyword research, the long tail versions, etc. So
Mhm.
now that I've got my word frequency cloud from Helium 10, I'm going to put it into one sheet that I've
The
used
Google Sheet.
ChatGPT.
Mhm.
Yeah, a Google Sheet that has my ChatGPT code, right? So I've put both of those together, and then I select uh, both English and Spanish words. So in this sheet, I have a column for English and a column for Spanish, and then
Mhm.
I have check boxes that goes down that list and say I want this, 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 and this, and then it automatically calculates whether the total number of bytes is 249 or not, and it just concatenates everything nicely and just throws me one output. So let
Yeah.
me,
To
yeah.
be clear, you've
Mhm.
basically for that Google Sheet told ChatGPT, give
Yeah.
me English and Spanish words.
No, actually, let me show you first. So this is what the sheet looks like. This is the backend tool. So this is, I'll just increase the size a little bit. So my input is basically these two columns, word and frequency. That's it.
Mm.
This is my input from Helium 10.
Ah, okay.
Okay, yeah, this is all I need right now. This one has a Google Translate tool, or
Obviously.
it's basically looking at this and converting it into Spanish. So
Got it.
A3ENES just means English to Espanol. So that's basically what it's doing here. And
Okay.
then this is a byte counter, so it's just counting the total number of bytes in my
Mhm.
final output, and the final output is basically getting picked up from all of the ones that I have checked off here and checked off here. Um, and it removes duplicates as well. So
Right.
yeah, so if anything is coming twice, it's going to get rid of it, so that kind of thing. And then you get one final kind of cell to pick up and drop. That's it. So let me show you how it works. So if I just undo some of these, you see how this
Mhm.
is getting
Yeah, it removes it
automatically removes it,
automatically.
and this
Mhm.
counter also kind of goes down. I'm going to just
Right.
add them back again, and the moment it
So you
hits,
can really gauge
yeah,
the highest frequency keywords,
yes,
uh,
yes.
and adjust the byte to
Mm-hmm.
just so it's just under it, and then use
Just
that.
under it, exactly.
Mhm.
And then because you can see the English version of the Spanish, you can also make a decision on that. Do I want Cabello? Do you want shampoo? Which ones do I want? I can add them. And if this goes over 249, it tells me that it's above 249.
Right.
Now, how did I come up with this formula? I would not have been able to do it. This is the formula that ChatGPT gave me.
Right.
Okay. Yeah,
That's
and
the
and I
connection.
yeah, exactly. This is where the magic is. So this code is basically after a few different iterations where I told ChatGPT, this is in my column A. It starts at cell A2, and in B2 I have a column with word frequency, and I want this, this, and this to happen. I want you to combine all the things that have a checkbox on them, and I want to combine them such that there's no duplicate. So this is the formula: you join, unique, flatten,
Mhm.
split, join, split. I don't know this stuff, okay? So
Right.
I
But
couldn't have done this.
ChatGPT came up with
Yeah,
this and gave it to you.
yes, it just gave
So
it to me.
if anyone watching wants to do this,
Yeah,
take a screenshot right now.
yeah.
You can do this.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so it's pretty cool. So that was
Mhm.
a nifty little tool that we use all the time now, because it's like it's a no-brainer. Like just pass our word frequency cloud through there and get a list very effortlessly, so yeah, so that was the first one. So let me go to the next one. So the next one actually uses the power of ChatGPT embedded inside of Google Sheets, right? So what I'm going to do here is basically generate some sponsored brand headline ads for A/B testing at scale. But there's two parts to it. I can't just generate headline ads without having keywords associated with it, right? So it's very important to pick the right headline for the right set of keywords, because otherwise what's going to happen is that you might bid on a keyword, but that keyword doesn't show up in your headline. It's not going to make an impact. You won't have a good conversion rate or even a good click-through rate for that matter. So if you want to maximize your click-through rate, you want to maximize your conversion rate, then make sure that whatever theme of keywords you pick, your headline represents that very closely, right? So what that means is that, let's say if I have like 500 keywords and I have to separate those keywords into logical groupings of keywords that can stand together as a topic. That's what I use ChatGPT for in the first step. So you get a list of keywords and you put it into my sheet that's embedded with ChatGPT, and it separates the keywords by theme, right? So when you have it by theme, then you can come up with a headline. So then once I have this, then I feed it back, and now I have another prompt that says, using these keywords, let's say 5 or 6 or 10, whatever it's compressed into a single theme, using these keywords, generate a headline under 50 characters.
Can you give an example of different themes?
Yeah. So here is a list of keywords, right? Short dress for women, tank dress, da 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 da. And then the prompt is analyze the following list of phrases and list them into very closely related categories. And then it's just concatenating this to this. And so this is how it spits out the output, where it says casual summer dresses for women. That's the theme heading. And then it says short dresses, tank dresses, mini dresses, spaghetti, and so on. Comfy summer dresses for women, and so on. So it picks up pretty common. Now I can make this prompt even more focused on the keyword. I can actually say something like, make sure that the words are very similar. So I can do a second level of refinement there. I can change my prompt to make it even more kind of targeted, right? This might be good for like a slightly upper funnel kind of a hook, but if I wanted to make it even more tight, I can do that as well.
Right.
And then I use another prompt which says generate a compelling headline ad copy within 40 characters. Don't use, this is just an instruction I give it, don't use exclamation or quotation marks, but it still does it. That's the problem with ChatGPT. It sometimes disobeys, and everybody's faced that. You're saying do this, but it does,
trust but verify. You gotta
exactly.
check it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. It basically took this collection of words, and then it says summer mini and maxi dresses, perfect for beach days, right? So all of these are, it knows that these are perfect for beach days. Somehow it figured that out. Or this one, short dresses, tank dresses, again, summer's hottest sundresses, mini to maxi. Like, it knows how to combine the keywords and come up with a compelling headline that kind of matches it very, very closely, right? So now let me show you the actual tool.
And again, for people watching, the prompt column is literally what you would put into ChatGPT.
Correct.
We're showing it this way because, again, she's got the plugin, so she can just put the prompt there, and which is brilliant. I would love that link, but that's why you're not seeing her go back and forth in between the actual tool and then the spreadsheet, which is incredibly time saving.
Yeah, and then you can also connect one tab to another. Like this, I instead of copying and pasting the list of keywords here that came from the categories, I can just pick it up. I don't need to kind of write it afresh. I can just connect those sheets with some sort of formulas and bring that in so that I save even more time. So anyway, I'll show you. Let's say I copy this and I paste it 3 times. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I paste the exact same keywords 3 times, and I paste my prompt here also three times, right? So now you'll see here it's asking AI. You see this? It's
Yeah, it's
done.
thinking.
Yeah, thinking. Then it's going to do the next and the next. So it's done it, right? So now I can see that it's actually given for the same set of keywords. It's actually given me different headlines. All of them are different, right? Mini to maxi, shop now, summer hottest. So these are additional, headlines that you can test. You can do A/B tests with different headlines. Some of them might appeal to you, but then some might be uh, even more high converting. So you never know till you test it out. And the good thing with sponsored brands is that you can actually go in and edit your creative, and at any time you can change your headlines, you can change your image as well, and try to kind of connect your image closely to the choice of keywords and the choice of headline. So
Perfect. Have
this
you
is
tested the difference between the results of the first set versus the results of the second set to see if there is a better performer from the get-go?
Yeah, honestly, we're still testing it, and the concept of A/B testing isn't new. We've been
Right.
doing it for a long time, but I couldn't come up with a headline like this. Honestly, I just feel like the quality of these headlines is definitely like top class. So I have I have a great confidence in the language abilities of ChatGPT, and I would
Yeah.
rather take this than rack my brains. I guess we
Sure.
might get lazy in some ways because we're getting such high quality copy, and
Right.
so quickly. I mean, I don't want to waste any more
So
time on creating
speaking
headline
of
ads. Yeah,
speaking of copy, like
yeah.
we're talking specifically SB headline ads, but you could do the same thing with titles, uh, bullets, I'm assuming. But to your point, like when you change things on the listing, it's you got to be careful with how much you're changing on a given listing. But you can technically do the same sort of analysis that you just did, right?
Absolutely, yeah, you can, and I think there are some tools now that even allow you to embed keywords into your headline. So you can actually instruct those tools to say, make sure to use these tools in the title. Or sorry,
Mm-hmm.
make sure to
Use
use these
word.
keywords in the title. Yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
So yeah, you can do it yourself, or you could use a tool that helps you get some scale.
Hmm.
So yeah, there's just so many ways of going about it. It's just so exciting. Yeah, so basically that's all I had for today. Just to
Perfect.
kind of summarize what ChatGPT is good at. It's good at answering questions, summarizing, translating, writing to prompts, language cleanup. I do this all the time. I just create a rough email, and I say refine this, and then it just cleans it up so well that
Hmm.
it's just such a no-brainer. Converting your needs into steps. So you might have like a big problem, and you want to kind of break that down into mini steps. You can just use this tool for that purpose, for code generation, like I said, and extracting
Right.
keywords from lists and so on. There's also things that the ChatGPT is not good at. It's not good at math, right? So don't ask it to add things up or do some summarization with numbers, etc. It's not good at that, right?
Hmm.
However, the way around that is that you can ask it to generate code that can then do the math properly. So if you ask
Hmm.
it to generate a Google Sheets code that adds something to something else in two separate columns, that's going to be perfect. But if you ask ChatGPT to do it, in the UI or even as a prompt, chances are your answers might be all over the place because it tries to be different and creative each time. If you ask the
Each
same
time.
question over and over again, it's going to
Right,
be
because otherwise, what? Because it knows
yeah,
you're asking the same question.
yeah,
Again, so
yeah,
it's trying to give a different
right.
outcome.
Yeah,
Which is
exactly.
interesting.
Now there is some ways to tweak that. There's something called temperature, which is basically giving ChatGPT an instruction on the degree of creativity you're willing to tolerate. If you want it, very very to the point, not deviating, etc., that could be like a zero temperature. Whereas if you want it to be creative, then you can put temperature to 2 or something, and then that's going to give you a range of responses. So definitely, like, test it out, try it out. There's a lot of good stuff in there. Prompt engineering is now slowly getting replaced by flows, like they're just called AI flows, where you can actually ask, like you said, Vince, at the beginning, you said that you can ask it to tell you what to ask it, kind of thing. So there's that back and forth.
Yeah, we literally watched a demonstration. I'm sure you were in the room,
I
and this is
was.
for brand new sellers. But you can literally ask it to you can ask it to come up with the right questions to like create an entire Amazon listing, right? And you can step by step, and it will come up with a list of questions. What kind of keywords should I include? What is your target? It will literally just ask you all the things that you would need normally.
Right.
If you were talking to a copywriter, for example, and saying, hey, create my listing for me.
Right.
It's exactly the same questions that a copywriter would ask you, and even more. And when it doesn't understand your answer, it will rephrase the question. And then the other thing, as you answer the questions, it looks at the answer and then says, oh, okay, now I need more information on this answer.
Right.
Which was it was it was almost alarming watching it. It was like, wow, it's like talking to, like you said, an assistant.
Yeah.
And we literally watched somebody build, of course he already had a prompt, and then he showed us his prompts, because that's the thing with this tool. You really do need, the better your prompts are, or your questions, and the different they are, you get different outcomes, and you get cleaner and cleaner. So when you use it more, you figure that out. But they were giving us these prompts to just say, hey, let's look at these competitors, right? And let's create a brand new listing for this product. And I thought that part was fascinating, because that's a lot of people struggle, with their bullet points and making sure they're optimized, with their product description, making sure that's optimized. So not only is it really super helpful for the back end stuff, like we were just showing you guys, in this session, but for brand new, sellers, or maybe you're an existing seller, but you launched a brand new product, to be able to leverage this AI for that, I think is extremely powerful and time saving.
Totally, yeah. So this is the end of my slides, but if you want my slides, you can download them here. But just as a bonus, Vince, I want to also give you the direct link to the back end. It might take a little bit of time. Okay, great. So let me just, because I need to, it'll just take a sec to.
No, that's great. So if any of you are constantly going back and forth into your your back end of your product, then this is a smart thing that she's going to be sharing.
Yeah, and it's asking me for my two-step OTP. So just give me a second.
Oh, okay, no worries. So I mostly deal with the PPC. So I mostly deal with the stuff that's already in the Amazon Ads console. But every once in a while, I'll be like, this isn't working, and I'll take a peek. And it's interesting. Some sellers are really good at it, so you expect them to it's going to be done. But then you do some testing or what have you, and it's not working. And then I'll go into and some I have access, some I don't. So obviously, if I have access to their inventory, I can go and check myself. But it's
right. So here it is.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is it. So sellercentral.com, ABIS/AJAX, reconcile details, V2, ASIN equals blah, blah, blah.
So you just change the ASIN.
Just change the ASIN, and then you look
Can you put that in the chat, in the comments?
Yeah, I can do that. And then you look for search terms here. And this is the search terms list of this ASIN. So you can
immediately see.
Yeah, you can
without
see
even going to the page. You can see
exactly.
So if that section is blank, then oh, they didn't complete this.
Yeah, and then you can use this for your competitors to spy on their backend. So that's another kind of
Oh,
cool
wow.
use
So even
case.
competitor listings, you can check their
Yeah,
backend
you
keywords.
can. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay, cool.
that's powerful.
All right, so I'll put it in the chat for you guys.
Yes, perfect.
Freebie
If anyone
bonus.
has any questions or comments besides Jake
Yeah.
Paulson, thank you for joining us today, Jake. I appreciate that. Your first Sir Tacos Tuesday. If anyone has any questions, please, let us know right now. We've got about 10 minutes left. So if you've got them, if you don't, then did you post in the comments?
I did.
Oh, how come I don't see it?
Sorry. I think I put it in the private chat. Let me just.
Oh, that's okay. We could
That's
put
okay.
it. I just thought it'd be nice to share with the group.
And it looks like I don't have access to put it in the comments.
Oh, okay. That
So
would be why.
I just sent it to you, and then
Got it.
you can do
I
it.
have access, so I'll do that right now.
Okay.
Comments all. Perfect.
Yeah, I like Jake's comment that funny it can write. Funny
You
it
can write a
can
formula
write a
for
formula.
people's too, but can't. Yeah. I'm fine with that. I'm
Yeah.
fine with it being really good at language and words and copy and things like
Yes.
that,
Yeah.
or images and, you
Hmm.
know, even video we saw, things like that.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't want it to be doing calculations. I don't want it to be doing, because that's what we do. We're
Yeah.
here as the PPC experts to do
Right. Yes. Absolutely.
that kind of work. So yeah, we,
Absolutely.
we don't we
Yeah.
don't need this to replace, which is a good point. Like I get that
Yeah.
asked a lot. Like people are asking, is a factor replace PPC?
Right.
I'm like, no, I don't think so. Not right now. Not based
Because,
on what I'm seeing. It's a support.
yeah.
It's not a replacement still for
Hmm.
a person and a mind
Right. Yeah.
knowing what to
Right.
look for and how to optimize
Right. Right. Yeah.
PPC campaigns effectively. I don't know if you have the
Yeah.
same thought.
Well, I think that there's just too many moving parts, and ChatGPT has a limited brain, right? The limited brain lasts a session, and that's probably something like 8,000 characters or something like that. So it's not going to be able to, do the whole kind of PPC experience. Like it's not going to be able to end serve your
Right.
needs. It would be able to serve smaller needs, and that's where it kind of shines. Um, yeah, you could use tools that can take in some data and then create Python scripts that can read that data and then generate something that is a little bit more kind of all encompassing. But even
Yeah.
then, there's just too many moving parts to PPC for something like generative AI to fully grasp and give you the best kind of recommendations. That's a little bit outside the scope or realm
The scope.
at this point. Yeah, I think.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with that. Okay. Well, that is it for us today, unless there are any questions from anyone watching. If you can't comment, hopefully that's not the issue. It shouldn't be. Jake's been able to comment.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, for coordinating,
Yeah.
this with me over the past, I don't know, 2 months. And
No, it's fun. It's fun. Thank you so much for having me. I
yeah, I
appreciate
hope
it.
everyone
Yeah.
got value from today's session. I know
Yeah.
I absolutely did, even though I saw these slides ahead of time. It's been an interesting, glimpse into just some of the
Yeah.
things that you can do.
Right.
And I expect we could have another session in 3 or 4 months and be a whole new session, a whole different session.
Right. Yeah.
But thank you guys so much. If you are watching this after the fact, please make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram as well at Trivium Group. If you want to share, your social channels, Ritu, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. So I generally live on LinkedIn, so you can just find me. My full name is Ritu Java, and I post on LinkedIn pretty frequently, I hope. Yeah.
More than me. I'm like a
Okay.
couple
Well,
of
there you
two times a
go.
week person, but I need to.
Yeah.
My goal is to do that more, because there's a
Mhm.
lot of good content on
Yes.
as well.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
perfect. All right, thank you so
Cool.
much. And
Yeah. Thank
again,
you.
everyone watching, thank you for joining. We'll be back again next month, last Tuesday of the month at 10 o'clock or 10 a.m. PST, I should say, or PDT. And if you're on our email list, make sure you're on that. You'll get the content ahead of time. Don't know what it is just yet, but hopefully it will be as interesting as today's. All right. Thank you, guys.
Awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Take care. Bye.